You are healing your anxiety wrongly. Today, I'm going to make it super clear as to what points you must focus on in order to supercharge your anxiety recovery starting today. My peaceful warriors, welcome to another important video on my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, click here at any point in the video. As we dive deep into the clarity around anxiety healing, and of course, when we talk about anxiety healing, we're talking about a number of different things that are connected to anxiety healing. We're talking about regulating your nervous system. We're talking about releasing ourselves from chronic fatigue. We're talking about losing that wired feeling that we bring with us unconsciously from one moment to the next each and every day. Now, how is it that you are healing your anxiety wrongly? Because you are trying to heal the physical body and its symptoms. That's why. The physical body is kind of like an iceberg. At the top of the iceberg, you can see the beautiful part of it, right? But you're not seeing anything going on below the surface of the water. The majority of that iceberg is actually hidden beneath the surface of the water, and all you're looking at is the top. And that's similar to the way you're healing your anxiety by focusing only on your physical body and to rid yourself of a particular symptom. I know what it's like because I used to be the kind of person that would say, if only this symptom would go away, I would be free. I would be able to live my life the way I choose. And in truth, it doesn't work that way because as you can see with that approach, the symptom gets stronger. The symptoms tend to travel. Ideas tend to overtake symptoms. Catastrophic imagery starts to play a part. So we must start avoiding this trap of trying to heal the physical body and its symptoms, and instead focus on these 3 points. And we're talking about below the iceberg, below the level of the water now, okay? We must heal the automatic thought patterns that overtake your thinking and your body, your emotions on a regular basis, okay? So we're talking about these thought patterns that have become very much a regular part of the way you think about your future, your past, and your present. We're not talking about the conscious thoughts. We're not talking about the present way of thinking. We're talking about the automated way of thinking. There's a big difference between these two types of thoughts, my friends. Now, as you go about the day and you come in contact with these automatic thought patterns, you must understand that one of the characteristics of them is familiarity. If a thought feels familiar, then that's the exact thought that you must acknowledge and start to reverse in some way. There's thousands of different ways you can work on this brain rewiring, cognitive rewiring process, right? I'm going to give you one today. But it's very, very important that we focus on these automatic thought patterns because they dictate where our focus goes. And depending on where our focus goes, our emotions flow. So if we're focused on a particular symptom, we are saying that symptom is important and must still be there. And in turn, we're sending the message of danger perception rather than safety perception. So you can see it's not just a thought, right? There's so much that goes with this. Now, when you encounter a thought, most likely some kind of thought that feels in the catastrophic category, a thought that comes with fear, a thought that maybe your father or your mother thought about often and turned into action or behavior, and you witness those actions and behaviors. When this thought shows up, I want you to do this. I want you to say out loud or in your mind, preferably out loud, I hear you and I just don't care anymore. I hear you and I just don't care anymore. Now, what you're going to find if you bring a certain degree of emotion and this investment into this idea, this replacement idea, is that the original fearful thought loses its strength. It loses its weight. And as the weight lowers, you're going to find that it's no longer overtaking your focus, your mind, your emotions, and your body, and that's good. The goal here isn't to try to eliminate these thoughts. The goal is to begin to lessen the air out of these thoughts. Kind of like, puncturing a bicycle tire, right? When you puncture the bicycle tire a little bit, there's a little bit of air that starts to come out. You puncture it at a thicker, deeper level, more air will come out. We're just trying to get some of the air out of these automatic thought patterns, okay? And this is a very beautiful and patient way to approach this, okay? Stay with me here. The second thing you must focus on during your anxiety healing is this identification with your choice of suffering. Identification with your choice of suffering. For example, knowingly and unknowingly throughout the day, you may be saying to yourself and other people, I am an anxiety sufferer. I'm such an anxiety sufferer, right? Or I'm a health anxiety sufferer. Or I'm always suffering. Or why won't things go away? Or, these sorts of incantations, if you will, right? These sorts of I ams. It's so, so important that you begin to disidentify from those things that you used to identify with. Because as you disidentify from thinking of yourself as some kind of a sufferer, you move into this gray area. And as you move into this gray area, you're going to find that a part of you wants to keep attached to that old anxiety identity. But you must be very, very comfortable with living in that gray area, not knowing who you are or even the direction you are headed. Because when you start to embrace this gray area where you're no longer identified with suffering and pain, now you start to slowly find out what your true, authentic nature is that you lost many years ago, my friends. And what you're going to find as time goes on, as you disidentify from being a sufferer of some sort, is that you start to go, I am. That's it. Literally, that's it. I am. I am not this. I am not that. I am not my past. I am not even my future. I am not a combination of my parents. I am. I simply am. That is the most freeing place to live in when you are finally disidentified from all of these old I ams. It's powerful. Do you live there now? If you're starting to tap into this gray area and starting to embrace it, comment below. I want to learn more from you. The third important aspect of your anxiety healing comes down to core beliefs. You've got beliefs that you're aware of consciously, and then you've got these core beliefs that you're unconscious of, that you don't really recognize. They don't come to the surface that often, right? So we must heal these core beliefs. And the way we heal these core beliefs, and just so you know, these core beliefs are seeped in things like things always go wrongly for me, right? It doesn't matter how hard I try, I'll always get the same result, right? A core belief could be, well, I'll never escape my past, right? I don't deserve happiness. These are all core beliefs, and they play out like a record player in your mind and body all the time. They show up once in a while through an initial feeling towards something. And these are your core beliefs. Now we're talking about below the iceberg, below the level of the water, right? These are the things that are affecting your anxiety and all the elements of it. So instead, I want you to say regularly these 3 words. I want these 3 words to be a part of your daily life. I want you to say them hundreds of times, believe in them, right? And make them a part of who you are and what you believe. The first word is allowance. And you can say things like, I allow. I allow this symptom to be here, right? I allow myself to feel the pain of this. I allow myself to feel helpless in this moment. Allowance, allowance, allowance. I allow things. You're no longer fighting with yourself. You're no longer arguing with yourself. You're no longer trying to become somebody. You allow life to unfold as it may. The first word is allowance. Very, very powerful. Awareness is the second word. I am aware of my symptoms. I am aware of this anxious thought that just popped in my head. I am aware that I am not where I want to be yet. You see, we're not pulling anymore, and we're not pushing anymore. We're right in the center of those 2 things. We are in awareness of what's taking place within us and what's taking place outside of us. But we are not fighting with those things. We are not trying to get somewhere quickly. Because, remember this, and this is a more than anxiety moment, the slower you go, the faster you'll get there. I'm going to say that again for you. You're listening right now till the end of this video, and I'm so proud of you. The slower you go, the faster you'll get there. The first word was allowance. I allow. The second word is awareness. I am aware of. The third word is loosen. I loosen myself in the face of anxiety. I loosen myself in the face of this environment that I feel uncomfortable in. Loosen. Allowance, awareness, loosen. Now, if you start talking to yourself based around these words regularly, your life is going to change. And remember, the slower you go, the faster you will get there. So take a step back. Take in these considerations today that I pointed out. And my friends, if you are ready to allow me to guide you towards true and lasting anxiety recovery, to put all of this into a step-by-step process so easy for you to follow, head over to theanxietyguy.com today and allow me to guide you one day at a time towards healing. Remember that you are more than anxiety. Don't ever forget it. I love you, and I'll see you soon.